One of the things that I think a lot of people look at the Steam Deck and think immediately is, wow, that thing is big. And so if you take this already large object and put it in a case, that's going to make it even bigger. Well, that is unless that case is Project Kill Switch from dbrand. That is my favorite case for the Steam Deck. The reason it's my favorite case for the Steam Deck is because even with the Steam Deck in its case, in this hard shell, it's still not that much bigger. And it's got this nice cover, which covers up the screen and covers up the joysticks, and the top covers up where the triggers are. In fact, the only thing on the entire Steam Deck that is exposed when it is in its case with the travel cover on is the USB-C port, so that you can still charge it while it's in the case. Now, a few months back, I did my initial review of the Project Kill Switch, and then the next day, we found out that there was a problem with the magnet in the kickstand. You see, it had a magnetic kickstand, which you would just slap onto the back, which is really cool if you want to use a kickstand for something. I think most people probably would have no use for the kickstand. As a content creator, I was actually kind of excited for the kickstand because it meant I could prop up the Steam Deck and be able to shoot it with my camera in order to get good angles and stuff like that. So once we found out that the magnet was interfering with the Delta fan of the Steam Deck, I said, all right, I'm done with that kickstand. And for the most part, I continued to use Project Kill Switch as my daily driver for a case for the Steam Deck because, like I said before, it's got that hard shell, it protects all the parts, and I'm a fan. That is until the official Steam Deck dock came out. You see, when Project Kill Switch was released, I think the only dock that was available at the time, unless I'm wrong about this, but the only dock that I had used at the time was the JSOX dock. And it was incompatible with the first version of the JSOX dock because it made the Steam Deck a little too beefy. Well, the official Steam Deck dock is exactly specified to fit the Steam Deck perfectly. So putting any kind of case on there is going to cause a problem. And once I got that, I ended up taking this hard shell off and not using it quite so often, but it's easy to get on and take back off. So I ended up using it here and there, but not every day, but more than any other case that I used. In fact, if I went someplace, I usually put the Steam Deck in this and took it with me that way, instead of actually putting it like in the hard case that it came with, because I like this better. It takes up less room. Once dbrand found out about the issue with the magnet, which was like the day of launch, which is really unfortunate for them, they let everybody know that they were going to fix it free of charge. Well, the one that I've been holding up is the new one. It's got the replaced kickstand. And when dbrand sent it to me, they sent something else as well, they sent a couple of something else as well, which we'll talk about in a second. First, let's take a look at the kickstand. The kickstand is really cool. It's got this new little locking mechanism that only goes on to the back of the Project Kill Switch in just one way. So all you have to do is hold it up here. I can't see what I'm doing. And there you go. It's snapped right on, and it's on there solid. It's not coming off. And if we take this back off, all you got to do is turn it counterclockwise in order to get it to come off. I'll see if I can get this to show up for you. Right there, you guys can see that we have spots for SD cards. So you could put up to 4 SD cards in here, in addition to it just being a kickstand, which is really cool because I actually have some extra. I've got an extra SD card for my Steam Deck that currently has Batocera on it, so that we can use it with that arcade over there. Although right now I've got my Raspberry Pi set up in there. But the cool thing that you might not be able to see, I'm going to try my best to make it so you guys can see this. Come on, come into focus. There you go. Is right here. There's like a little handle, and you can see there's a little arrow pointing the direction that you should push that handle. So I'm going to push that handle up, and the SD card snaps in, and it is locked in there. It is really hard to take out of there. And that's because you're not supposed to take it out of there without moving that little handle. So we'll get that back into focus again. There we go. And I'm gonna pull that handle up. I can't see what I'm doing. It's much easier to do when you can look down and do it instead of trying to do it backwards in the camera and looking at the monitor at the same time. So it pops right back out. And now you have a spot to carry around 4 extra SD cards. So if you have some smaller SD cards that you split your games up, maybe RPGs on one SD card and first-person shooters on another SD card and all of your retro games on another SD card, well, with this kickstand, you've got a place to keep them all. And then it just snaps onto the back of your... I almost called it a Nintendo Switch, which will be funny in a little bit. It slaps on the back of your Steam Deck and you are all set and ready to go. Okay, so why is it funny that I called it a Nintendo Switch? Well, I'm just going to show you. They also shipped a skin along with the case. Now, this skin does not cover the entire Steam Deck. It just covers the portions of the Steam Deck that are not covered by this case. But as you can see, the skin is Nintendo Switch themed. It's got that red and blue that is very, very distinctive. I think it looks gorgeous on here. And actually, I like it a lot more than the previous skin that they had sent me, which made it look like you were looking through the insides of the Steam Deck, which admittedly looked really cool. But stylistically, I like this one a whole lot better. Okay, so that solves the problem of the magnetic kickstand. But when Valve made the dock, they made the cord that hooks into the USB-C port on top of the Steam Deck molded perfectly to the Steam Deck. Valve is essentially saying, hey, we shipped you a case, you don't need another case. The bottom of our Steam Deck dock is molded perfectly to the bottom of the Steam Deck. The cord of the Steam Deck dock is molded perfectly to the top of the Steam Deck. These things fit together perfectly on purpose. Well, that's great unless you want to have a hard shell protective case like Dbrand's Project Kill Switch. So what was Dbrand's solution? Well, they actually had a couple of solutions, and this is really cool. If you look at the bottom of the Dbrand case, you can see it's got these little protrusions, 3 little protrusions. These are the key to understanding how to use the Steam Deck dock with this, because Dbrand made this. This is the Steam Deck dock, I guess, accessory. But if I tip this forward, those 3 little protrusions that we saw on the bottom of the Steam Deck with the Project Kill Switch on there, they line up perfectly with those. And this snaps perfectly onto the bottom of your Steam Deck dock. So if you've got the official Steam Deck dock and you've got this little hunk of plastic, you snap it in there and it makes a nice little shelf that then your Project Kill Switch, these little protrusions, fit in there absolutely perfectly. That doesn't solve every problem with the official Steam Deck dock though, because the official Steam Deck dock, the wire, is molded perfectly to the top of an uncased Steam Deck. And when you try and hook it up through the USB-C port on top of the Steam Deck with the case on, it doesn't quite reach. So their solution, Dbrand's solution, was to give us a little tiny USB-C to USB-C little adapter, which is great, and it works fantastically well. My one gripe with this, and I always got to have a gripe, right? My one gripe with this is it makes the wire on the back of the Steam Deck dock pull just a little too much, and it's not enough that it's going to break or anything, but it just kind of makes me nervous. And so I wish that one of 2 things would happen with this. Either that it would be a 90-degree angle, or that it just be a little bit shorter. Now, I know that USB-C stuff tends to have like circuitry inside these little tiny things. It's crazy how small stuff is. So I don't know if there's enough room to make this shorter, but if they could, that's what I would have done. But overall, I have to say that I am incredibly impressed with how Dbrand has handled the issues along with the of the, you know, the magnet issue that they ran into and the dock issues that they're running into. I think that they handled all of that stuff incredibly well. So long story short, I stand by everything that I said in the original video where I reviewed Project Kill Switch from dbrand. This is not a sponsored video, but overall, I think that this case is awesome. And you know what else I think is awesome is these awesome people who support this channel either by becoming channel members or supporting on Patreon. You guys are fantastic. From the Nerd Nest, I'm Bill. Stay rad, everybody.